Hi, it's Dr. Kate, and this week I'm going to talk about jaw tension. So, I had quite a few patients last week, all different backgrounds, guys, girls, high schoolers that were coming in with stuff that related back to their jaw tension. And it fits in perfectly with what I've done in the past, but right now I'm working on an intensive continuing ed 4-month course, and our module was on how the pelvic floor relates to jaw tension and kind of ties it into anatomy trains and that fascial connection from one body part to another and how that kind of all plays in. So if you don't notice that you clench your teeth in the day or at night, you might have other problems crop up in other areas like chronically tense neck, pelvic floor issues, those kind of things. Or you could have jaw pain, clicking, popping, grinding, those kind of things. So they can manifest in different ways. And a lot of times, once you become aware of the chronically clenching your teeth during the day, you can make some concerted efforts to alter that habit. And that's great. But the problem comes in where we're going to sleep, our mind is racing, we're in a stressed state of mind, and we clench all throughout the night. And we're unable to alter that because we're asleep. I wanted to talk a little bit about some things that I have been giving people to try to combat that portion of it. So first thing is becoming aware that you might do it through the day and try to pick up on those cues throughout the day. If you're drawing your shoulders up towards your ears, you feel like you're tensing up the muscles in the jaw. And I give out different release things you can do with the yoga tune-up balls, or you can use your hands, because there's different muscles that do that gripping, that clenching. So you have the masseter muscle in through here that does the chewing motion. Temporalis helps with chewing. So if you take your hands, bring them to either side of your head and feel in through there, feel if you have any tender spots. Once you find a tender spot, grip your teeth together and feel how that will tense up underneath your fingers. And you can keep feeling clench, relax, and then find where that muscle ends. And it's a good portion of your head, actually. So if you're in the office and I'm working on you and I'm like rubbing your head, essentially, that is why. And I can give you stuff to do on your own to help with that chronically tightened area. Another couple muscles that are affecting that would be mentalis around the mouth, and then the buccinator in the cheeks. We also have the pterygoids. Now, the pterygoids are, very internal, hard to get to. If someone has really bad TMJ, sometimes I always use gloves, but I'll use, show them how to access the pterygoids and do a light pressure because they can tend to be super tender. But all of that plays into how we grip and clench our teeth. One of my patients this week mentioned that their dentist mentioned that, hey, you have probably been clenching your teeth. And how dentists can notice that is, it changes how your enamel is on your teeth. And they want to protect the teeth, so they'll suggest a guard. And that's great for protecting your teeth. And, that's important for sure. But if you think about it, when you have a guard on your teeth, you're not preventing yourself from gripping down. You're only preventing the harm to your teeth. So we're still creating the tension. We still might be getting headaches from it, TMJ type issues, pelvic floor issues, deep neck pain issues. So we kind of correlated this patient's chronically tight neck, with maybe some clenching all night long during the sleep. So now how do we alter? So we can use the tune-up balls and our hands and even some light cupping, or you can pinch and pull at the cheeks to help encourage blood flow into there after you've rolled it out lightly. And for the temporalis, up where your hair is, if you have hair, you can just lightly tug on the hair, and that encourages blood to come back into the area. So after you've done those things, you can try to do some stuff to help downregulate your nervous system and put you into that parasympathetic state, that rest and relax state, to help relax the jaw for sleep. So I love to have people do their breathing exercises because engaging their diaphragm is going to rub on your vagus nerves, and that's going to help switch you over to that rest and restore state. So try a few different breath work exercises. We have tons of videos on different styles that you can do. And then if you enjoy meditation, you can try a guided meditation. You can try Vedic meditation like I do, or you can try what's something that's nice to do right before bed because you can be lying down to do it, would be just a simple body scan. So if you were lying in your bed, you would start at your head and then work your way down. So you're going to like tense up the top, very top of your head. So you're squeezing up and through here, and then think of melting into your pillow or your mattress. And then you're going to scrunch up the eyes and hold them real tight, and then relax. And then allow the cheeks to relax, allow the teeth to fall open. You're going to tense up the shoulders, draw the shoulders up towards the ears, and then fully relax them. And then you're going to tense up the biceps and relax, and just work your way through the entire body. So going all the way down to the toes. So everything you can think of that can be tensed or flexed. You don't actually have to flex it. You can just squeeze isometrically and then relax until you're completely relaxed and then ready to go to sleep. So that's a form of meditation. And sometimes if you struggle with, clearing your mind or that kind of thing, this kind of helps you focus on something else so that you can get nice and relaxed. And that can sometimes help translate into how we're sleeping. The other thing to notice that I've picked up from a few different sources, but I think the first place I saw it was with Dr. Perry Nicholson. He talked about the benefits of taping your mouth shut when you sleep, which I know sounds weird and possibly scary to some people, but if you are a mouth breather for when you're sleeping, that can affect the tightness in our neck and our jaw and that kind of thing. And it leaves us with not as much of an engaged diaphragm, and it's not as calming to the nervous system. So taping the mouth shut forces you to breathe through your nose, and that can be helpful and give you a much more restful sleep. If you can get over that hurdle of being like, I do not want to tape my lips together, essentially. If you have any issues with breathing or anything like that, by all means, you should definitely check with your PCP first. Or if you have a CPAP or something like that, that might not be an option for you, but just a little piece of medical tape has been helpful. I have tried it once before, but I'm not really a mouth breather when I sleep. So for me, it wasn't a drastic change. So, just food for thought. And one interesting thing I found in this current module that I'm working through is that if you're a mouth breather through the day, through night, whenever, if your lips are parted, that distance between your top lip and your nose and bottom lip and your chin will atrophy and shorten over time if you mouth breathe for very long periods of time. And that to me was so interesting because then that's going to translate into altering your sleep and how we engage our diaphragm and that kind of thing. So what they suggested to help retrain yourself and lengthen the tissue and work on those muscles that keep the lips together. They simply just took a piece of TheraBand tubing, so like exercise band tubing, and put it a little piece of band on the upper lip between the teeth and the lip, and between the lower lip, teeth and the lip, and drew them together. So they only did it. They said they worked up, to 15 minutes at a time, and she said you'd be surprised how fatigued you get if you are a chronic mouth breather at the effort to keep the lips together with the tubing. So you're essentially trying to retrain and stretch that area so that you can more easily have the lips together and not parted. Another big thing with that fascial line all the way down to our pelvic floor is tongue placement. And so that's another very interesting thing I found, and ties in with how the jaw sits. So that TMJ is the joint of the jaw where it comes together. And what I just learned, so I thought I'd pass it on to you guys, for the tongue is just how you're normally sitting with your lips closed. Where is your tongue at in your mouth? Is the tip of your tongue touching the top front teeth? Most everyone that walks through my office has a forward head posture. So their head is shifted forward. Their tongue, so if your tongue touches the tops of the teeth and out, do you feel like it makes your head shift forward? Well, now mine does touch my tip of my tongue touches my teeth. So my head shifts. I do have a forward head posture. I do a lot of, bending over patients all day. I do a lot of computer work. So lots of stuff where my head comes forward anyways. So ideally, instead of the tip of your tongue touching the teeth, you would take the middle of your tongue and press it to the very highest point in your roof of your mouth. And then the tip of the tongue isn't touching anything. So if you're a tip of the tongue to teeth person, try out that position that you normally are in, and then switch it so that the middle of the tongue comes to the roof of the mouth. And then see if that doesn't shift your head back as you draw the glottis or the tongue back and up. And just see if that subtly shifts where your head naturally goes. So a lot of times when I cue exercises for people, I might tell them to look a certain way before they do that movement, like with hard rolls or soft rolls. Because your body naturally follows the direction of your eyes. But what I learned is that also can be true of your tongue. So if your tongue is shooting forward, our head comes forward. So changing position of the tongue can help to align you better. And then that's that deep fascial connection all the way down to the pelvic floor. Very, very interesting, because it touches on the breath work stuff that we do, the deep core line to the pelvic floor. So it's all kind of woven together. So if you are someone who struggles with chronic neck pain, pelvic floor issues, headaches, or TMJ, those are all very interesting things to think of and take note of in yourself throughout the day. If any of those things you might be able to change, they're super subtle and easy to do, and they might make a lot of benefit and drastic change in something that you might have struggled with for a long time. So just thought I would put that out there. I like to share all the new things that I learn, because I do try to, keep doing continuing ed all the time. and I will be sure to share whatever tidbits I get with you in the future.